let's correct the welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Share it. What, you forgot to bring? Yes. Okay, then next class.
Today we will complete Nelson Mandela.
Let's start. We cannot complete in one class.
Starting. It's a 3-hour lecture.
You have the textbook? Textbook, right? You have to teach from book. Before you read, apartheid is a political system that separates people according to their race. Can you say which of the 3 countries named below had such a political system until very recently? United States of America, South Africa, Australia. Racism is prevalent in South Africa. The racism based on color, especially color, because black and white. But racism, thoda bahut, racism, if you talk about racism, casteism, we have a lot in our country. But racism we don't have. That South Africa, but most of the South African cricket team, we have black and white, mixture of black and white, mostly white, na? South African cricket team. Have you heard? So apartheid is a political system that separates people according to their race. Apartheid is a political system. You have to write that, mention that. Political system mention karna zaruri hai. Why? Because politically, constitutionally, they were separated. So, have you heard of Nelson Mandela? Mandela and his African National Congress. Jaise we have Indian National Congress, they had African National Congress. Spent a lifetime fighting against apartheid. So, Nelson Mandela himself was of black origin. Mandela had to spend 30 years in prison. And he was also given the Nobel Prize for Peace. He was a Nobel Prize for Peace. Finally, democratic elections were held in South Africa. Democratic election. When we talk about democratic election, it is a constitution or a government chosen by common people. Democracy. Common people. Finally, democratic elections were held in South Africa in 1994 and Mandela became the first black president of a new nation. They called Africans black and us brown. we are brown according to them, and calling someone by their skin color is racism. So brown, black, and we don't do it. They say if we say Gora, we do not use this word Gora in a insulting tone. But when they use black or brown, that's as if they are looking down upon us. In this extract from the autobiography Long Walk to Freedom, Mandela speaks about a historic occasion, the inauguration. Can you guess what the occasion might be? So, the occasion when the apartheid system was abolished. Constitutionally, it was abolished. If constitutionally we cannot abolish reservation caste system now because it's added in the constitution. So you cannot abolish something. If you want to abolish something, you have to remove it from constitution. And uske liye it's a very big fight. Everybody has to agree. All the MPs, MLAs, ministers, the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, so many people, they have to agree and they have to vote for it, and then it can be passed or removed. So it's a big process. It's a tough process. And he went through that process and finally he could do it. So it's a big victory for Nelson Mandela, and that is the reason he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Yes. Can you guess what the occasion might be? Check your guess with this new item. Let's see. Nelson Mandela becomes South Africa's first black president. I'll tell you. ये was 9th का जब syllabus change हुआ था ना, there was a webinar from NCERT or CBSE board. What they say, how you have to approach for your exam. बहुत अच्छे से बोला था. I'll tell you. I'll read it. So you have to for your exam, you have to read for each and every poem poetic devices in poems. Poetic devices आपको use सीखना ही है. Literary devices, alliteration, simile, pun. Theme. What is the theme of the poem? What is the difference between poetic device and literary device? Tone, the tone of the poem, or we'll see from exact words. We'll see from here. I'll see from my mobile. I don't want to disturb. These are the things that you have to learn. I'm telling you. You have class next week?
Next week is not.
Who will teach? I will be out of session. Who will teach? You don't know.
I don't know.
Poetic devices are techniques poets use to create rhythm, enhance meaning, intensify the tone. And that's what I said, the tone of the poem, and intensify the mood of the poem, or whether it's mystical, whether it's using nature, whether it's what. So it's like this. Key devices include figures of speech to hai, metaphor, simile, personification, sound tools, alliteration, and then rhyme, meter. So anything that talks more about, goes deeper into the meaning of the poem, that is called poetic device or technique. So poetic device के अंदर ये भी आता है, literal figures of speech भी आता है, alliteration modes of the other. So what we have to do, you have to learn the poetic devices in poem, literary devices in the poem, theme, Identify real life incidents while reading. Real life incident, whether it happened with you or not, that you will help you to write the value-based question, like a letter to God. Real life incident, have you gone through any such incident where you depended entirely on God's will and you did not do any work, or you worked hard and you failed and you really you were totally dependent on God, that God will help you out from the situation. Have you done it before? So आपको then you can say, because we all know failures are the pillar of success, so we have to work harder. We should have faith in God, but we have to work hard. And if we fail once, we have to try again and again unless and until we succeed.
Learn from our mistakes.
Learn from our mistakes. What are the points that I missed? So it's not right to be totally dependent on God or something that I have not seen. है ना? So identify real life incident इसलिए है, it comes as value based question. These are the things that come in your exam. Reflect and respond. Reflect what you learn from this chapter. Value based हो गया. Vocabulary activities. Vocabulary activities भी आता है in your MCQs. Not MCQ, in the extract based question. इसमें vocabulary आता है ना? So choose the right word according to the passage. These are the things you have to learn while reading poems and verses. Now, Nelson Mandela, BBC, after he became the president of South Africa, president or prime minister? President. Nelson Mandela has become South Africa's first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule. Mr. Mandela's African National Congress party won 252 of the 400 seats, so majority ho gaya usko, more than 50%. In the first democratic election, it was the first democratic election where even the blacks were allowed to vote. Before, they were not allowed to vote. Of South Africa's history. The inauguration ceremony took place in the Union Buildings Amphitheatre in Pretoria today. So this is reporting. Reporting speech. तो घटना हो गया, अभी reporting चल रहा है. Attended by politicians and dignitaries from more than 140 countries around the world. Never, never again will this beautiful land experience the oppression of one by another, said Nelson Mandela in his address. If you go to South Africa, those who have gone to South Africa, they say that it's beautiful country, lots of greenery, natural things are natural. वो your nature का जो beauty है ना, you can see in South Africa. So he says that this beautiful country will never ever be ruled by or oppressed by anybody from today onwards, because constitutionally they have removed the word apartheid from the word oppression from their constitution. It's a democracy now, democratic government. Never, never again will this beautiful land experience the oppression of one by another, said Nelson Mandela in his address. Jubilant scenes on the streets of Pretoria followed the ceremony with blacks, whites, and colored celebrating together. Black people, white people, different colored people, brown people, all of them celebrating together. Everybody was happy. More than 1 lakh South African men, women, and children of all races sang and danced with joy. They are happy now because they will no longer be oppressed. Or ये oppression जो था ना, it was dangerous. They were oppressed they were treated like animals. Slaves, animals, activity. In column A, are some expressions you will find in the text. Make a guess and match each expression with an appropriate meaning from column B. A rainbow gathering of different colors and nations. What can it be?
A beautiful coming together of various peoples, like the colors in a rainbow.
Wow. Yes. The seat of white supremacy.
The center of racial superiority.
Yes. Be overwhelmed with a sense of history. History.
Feel deeply emotional, remembering and understanding all the past events that have led to the moment.
Led up to the moment.
Led up to
Resilience that defies the imagination. Resilience is patience. Resilience that defies the inauguration. Patience.
a sign of human feeling.
A great ability, almost unimaginable, to remain unchanged by suffering, not losing hope, goodness, or courage. है ना? Resilience that defies the imagination. What resilience? I imagine to be free. And what helped me? My patience. I waited for that perfect, for the day to come. So a great ability. So from I am a slave. Tough thing. So a great ability, almost unimaginable. To remain unchanged by suffering, not losing hope, goodness, or courage. A glimmer of humanity.
A sign of human feeling goodness, kindness, pity, justice.
A twilight existence.
A half secret life, like a life lived in a fading light between sunset and dark.
Yes. Twilight. That's twilight, no?
Twilight.
And then I said, when you read at home, every meaning, because question can come based on the word meaning given in the book. So if you do not know the meaning, you will not be able to write the answer. I told you in a letter to tricky. What's the a type of surgery you have? No.
Time of surgery, I have.
You have. So I told you that word that question came in your exam, and very few children would give. CT you gave? Did you give the CT of type of surgery?
It's on 21st May.
I'll not tell you that. 10th May, some have given. 10th May dawned bright and clear. 10th May, the day. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged. So if a question comes based on the word besieged, my meaning kya hai? To be surrounded closely by. I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries, so he was surrounded by dignitaries because the twilight was about to come. The day, What is the day? I want to give a name to it. That much awaited day, you can say, is about to come, and he is surrounded by all the dignitaries. Dignitaries are all the VIPs, VVIPs, all the famous people, all the big people around the world, dignitaries, we can say, presently besieged by dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respects before the inauguration. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South African soil, because everybody were happy to join, because everybody, no one liked the system, the apartheid system that existed in South Africa. No one liked. So but they cannot intervene because it's a independent country, and they have their independent law and constitution. So now when they are out of it, when finally Nelson Mandela fought and won the war against apartheid system, all the other world leaders, they were very happy, and they all joined Nelson Mandela in the celebration. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheatre formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria. Where did the ceremony took place? If it comes in your exam, you have to mention everything. Took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheatre formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria. This is the full answer, all full marks. 1 mark का होगा तो this is the full answer. Otherwise, you will get half. So where is how the amphitheater was made with what? Sandstone. Sandstone, and where it's situated, Union Building in Pretoria. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy. It's like the house where a building where the ruler, the person who the prime minister sits, the president sits. That's the building here, and this is the building, Union Building, where the ministers sit and do their job. Just say we have. Rashtrapati Bhavan, Raj Bhavan, Rashtrapati Bhavan, where the dignitaries sit and do their work. Same way, it's the Union Building in Pretoria, where for decades, many years, hundreds of years, or 30 years, 30 years ही दिखा है ना? 30 years, decades, more than 3 decades. The white supremacy, white people used to rule, and they used to rule on the black. They used to torture the black. And now it was the seat of whites, and now it was the site of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations for the installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. Democratic, why? Because he was chosen by the common people through voting. So it was people's choice. Nelson Mandela was people's choice. Non-racial government, because apartheid system was abolished, so it's now non-racial government. There is no white, black, brown. There is no differentiation. Everybody are treated like human beings, like humans. On that lovely autumn day, it was autumn, I was accompanied by my daughter Zinani. Autumn, I think it's April, May, June, no? So 10th May, so it's autumn. Autumn comes before summer, isn't it? Winter, spring, Autumn.
Winter, spring.
After winter, spring. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? So winter, then spring, then autumn, then summer. Spring के बाद autumn आता है. When the new leaves grow, है ना? उसके बाद summer आता है. Spring and autumn मिला के new leaves and the trees bloom, flowers come, flourish. The trees flourish. So that lovely autumn day, and what's that day? Day 10th May. It was autumn. I was accompanied by my daughter Zenani. On the podium, Mr. D. Clark was first sworn in as second deputy president. You have to remember these names. Then Thabu, Becky, M is silent. Was sworn in as first deputy president. When it was my turn, I pledged to obey and uphold the constitution, the rules of the constitution, and to devote myself to the well-being of the republic and its people. It's republic, republican government, democratic government, where people choose their leader. We are also republican or democratic. Republican, we can say, because we choose our republican and democratic. Both of them choose their ruler, the person who will rule, their leader, you can say. But there is a difference between republican and democratic. Republican government mostly focuses on development based on taxpayers' money. Democratic government mostly democratic government is more into business oriented work, where their growth means growth of business. Republican government is their growth means building bridges, building roads, all these things. So democratic is more business oriented, like Trump. ट्रम्प को क्या चाहिए? बिजनेस बढ़ाना है ना, हाँ, इनकम बढ़ाना है. और रिपब्लिकन गवर्नमेंट में क्या है? इट्स डेवलपमेंट बेस्ड ऑन पीपल्स मनी. हाँ, डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द कंट्री. दैट इज बोथ आर डेवलपमेंट. दैट इज बिजनेस आएगा तो तरक्की होगी, बट द वे इज डिफरेंट. To the assembled guest and the watching world, I said, today all of us do by our presence here. He's not telling today all of us do by my presence. He's not talking in my. He's not saying anything that shows that it's he who is important in the soil. He's talking about everybody, the common people, the public. Today all of us do by our presence here. Our presence, my presence he is not telling. Our presence here. We should. Someone told in a gathering. I like. Apart, he told many things. What he told. The important part was that I liked the most. We should not be like goats.
Like?
Goat.
Goat
जैसा हमें नहीं बनना है. He didn't say we should not be like dog or lion or tiger or spider or rat. Why he said goat? मैं. Goat का जो ये है मैं. So we should not, chant मैं, it's me. मैं ना कहती थी, मैं ना बोलती थी, मैंने किया, मैं नहीं करना है. So I liked it very much. So here also he is not speaking like a goat. मैं करके नहीं बोल रहा है. Us, our बोल रहा है. देखो सबका मालिक. Today all of us do by our presence here confer glory and hope to newborn liberty. It's newborn freedom. They were not free. Newborn liberty. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long. out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster. It was a human disaster. If you are if you are making someone your slave and misbehaving, torturing that man, it's a human disaster. We are human beings. We have the brain to think. So we are not, even jungle raj में भी ऐसे नहीं होता है. A tiger, when the tiger is full, not hungry, will never kill a deer. He will kill a deer only when he is hungry, because he does not have any alternate रास्ता to feed himself. उसका यही रास्ता है. There is no market, there is no money. Then so उसका एक ही रास्ता है to hunt and eat. But for us, we don't have to hunt. We have other ways because we can use our brain. So why to hunt the dignity of others, of the black people? So that was a extraordinary human disaster. A disaster by man should not happen. That lasted too long, more than 3 decades. How long we were under British rule?
200 years.
More than 200 years, no? More than 200 years. So that was also a human disaster. That lasted too long. Must be born a disaster that lasted too long. Must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. A society where all humanity will be proud. We who were outlaws not so long ago, a few years ago, a few months ago, when we were outlaws, law was not applicable on us. So catch hold of me, kill me. But the rule says that we cannot kill anybody. We should not carry a weapon. But that rule was applicable only for the white. For the black, they were outlaws. No rule was applicable for them. So usko pakdo, usko maro, kato, koi farak nahi padta. Slave banao, doesn't matter. Torture karo, doesn't matter. Because no rule was applicable. The apartheid system was so strong, so against them that no law was applicable for their safety. There was no rule for their safety. So किसी black को कोई अगर torture करता है a white, उसका कोई sentence भी नहीं, उसका कोई trial भी नहीं होगा, because there was no rule that says that what will happen if I kill a black man. कोई रूल ही नहीं है. अगर रूल ही नहीं है, आप कोर्ट में जाके क्या करोगे? कोर्ट दिखा देगा इसके आगे कोई रूल ही नहीं है. We have nothing under which section we will punish that white person, because there is no rule like that if I am killing a black person, this section will be applicable. This section होता है ना, section 20C, 149, 429 जो है, section ही नहीं है कोई. There is no rule for them. So we who were outlaws not so long ago have today been given the rare privilege to be forced to the nations of the world on our own soil. South Africa is the sole soil of the black people. उसका ही जमीन है, उसका. जस्ट इमेजिन आपके घर में आपका ही पहचान वाला कोई आके आपको टॉर्चर कर रहा है, and इसका कोई रूल नहीं है. No one is protesting because there is no rule that उसके घर में आप उसको नहीं मार सकते हो. So someone enters your room and says, आज से मेरे घर मेरा है, आप बाहर चले जाओ. Is it possible? अगर possible जंगल राज होता तो कोई भी ऐसा कर सकता है. No, there is specific rule. You cannot do that. I have the papers. It's my house. So ये rule नहीं था उधर. So now they are telling that we thank all of our distinguished international guests for having come to take possession with the people of our country of what is after all a common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. We have at last achieved a political emancipation. Freedom. Political emancipation means this. If this word comes, we should know what it means. It means freedom from restriction. Political emancipation and political freedom and freedom both are different. Freedom, आपके घर में you have freedom of speech, But that freedom of speech is different when you go out and speak. You cannot harm anybody's dignity. You cannot harm. आपको आपका verbal abuse ठोक सकता है आपके against में. So when you say that because we just जैसे we are given some freedom, constitutionally we are given freedom. So constitutionally we have that some rule that we have to give back to the society. Suppose we are going to see the Taj Mahal. It's our fundamental right. It's a fundamental duty. There is fundamental right bhi hai, duty bhi hai. It's a fundamental right duty to preserve the historic sites. We cannot. So if we are writing anything, carving anything on the Taj Mahal, if you are caught, you can be fined or you can be taken to the court. You can be taken to the court. So fundamental, एक तो fundamental right है, एक fundamental duty है. Fundamental right भी उसका भी limitation है. Right to speech, if you say you cannot use any word, verbal abuse अब नहीं कर सकते हो. बोल के कि this is my right to speech. Constitutional right है ये मेरा. You cannot. There are limitations. And वो आपका duty के अंदर पड़ता है. Fundamental rights जैसा है, fundamental duty भी है. You cannot hurt anybody and everybody. So we have that is called political emancipation. Fundamental right and fundamental duty, that is constitution. That can be if you break that freedom, you can be taken into custody, taken to jail, or you can be tried in the court. वो हो सकता है. So that's why I say political emancipation. Emancipation is freedom from restriction, political, constitutionally. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty because they were made slaves. They did not have the opportunity to study. They did not have the opportunity to find a job for themselves because all the posts and all the educational institutions were restricted for only white people. So they were not allowed. So they were poor. If I do not have a means to survive, to earn, I will be poor. My land belongs to them. My education, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to earn money. I'm a slave. If I'm a slave, I will be poor. So, bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination. All these 4 points, आप घर जाके आप underline करोगे. These are the we have at last achieved our political emancipation. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage. So, what did they pledge? They wanted to liberate their people from what? Poverty. Deprivation means state of not having one's rightful benefits. Rightful benefit. If my rightful benefit is right to education. So if I am not given that benefit, rightful benefit, if my parents are not sending me to school, the court can intervene and send anybody's parents to jail. Because this is a rightful benefit. So if I am a child cannot be appointed as a worker unless and until he or she is 14 years of 14 14 साल के पहले नहीं कर सकते. अगर किसी ने किया है, so the court can that person can be taken to jail. So it is the right of the child to have a safe childhood. Before 14, he or she cannot. पहले नहीं था ये. पता है मूवीज में यूज्ड टू सी छोटे छोटे बच्चे गाना गाते गाते टेबल साफ कर रहे हैं. अभी नहीं देखते हो बिकॉज अभी इट्स नॉट अलाउड. लेकिन फिर भी लोग करते, चाचा मामा काका लेके आके करवाते हैं, बट एंड दे से कि हेल्प कर रहा है, बट इट्स नॉट अलाउड. What time is your first break? 45?
2:15.
नहीं हुआ था? अच्छा 2:15 अभी नहीं है ना?
अभी नहीं।
So bondage, or what was the bondage? Bondage of poverty, deprivation, that is state of not having one's rightful benefits, not giving rightful benefit to deprivation. That's called deprivation. You are not allowed to take the benefit. Suffering, of course, if someone is poor, there will be suffering. Gender and other discrimination. Gender discrimination we thought male, female, gender discrimination and other discrimination based on race, color, etc. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. The sun will never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa. So the sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Today's sunset is glorious, is the best glorious sunset we see because today is a very special day. Something great happened today. The today's achievement is will never be so glorious. The sunset, day coming to an end, and this is the best glorious sunset ever in the history of South Africa. Because today onwards, apartheid system is abolished, and all of them, people will be removed from the bondage of what? Charge is there.
Poverty, deprivation, suffering, discrimination and gender.
Discrimination and gender. So they will be free from all this bondage and let freedom, they will be free. And you can even say freedom from restriction, emancipation, political emancipation. You can use this, you have to use this word. Political emancipation, freedom, that is the freedom. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa. Order comprehension check karte hain. Where did the ceremonies take place? Can you name any public building in India that are made of sandstone? है शायद ना सैंडस्टोन जयपुर में है शायद सैंडस्टोन वाला जैसलमेर जयपुर they have buildings that are made of sandstone. जैसलमेर में तो है sandstone वाला. Where did the ceremonies took place? Ceremonies took place where do you know? In the Union Building, Pretoria, and a building that is made with sandstone. What's the name of the building?
Building no, amphitheater.
Amphitheater. Building वाला amphitheater ना Union Building कुछ तो है.
अपना ऊपर.
और भी ऊपर. The ceremonies took place in the Union Building.
Union Building.
So ये amphitheater कोई building में तो है ना. So the ceremony took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union Buildings in Pretoria. Can you say how 10 May is an autumn day in South Africa?
Because in autumn new leaves grow.
देखो इसमें
Paragraph mentions that it was a lovely autumn day. Moreover, as South Africa is in the southern hemisphere, so it is autumn season in the month of May. 10th May is an autumn day in South Africa, as on this day were the largest gathering of international leaders on South African soil for the installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government after more than 3 centuries of oppressed white rule.
So autumn. First autumn means the formation of the new leaves. The autumn नहीं होता है ना? spring, autumn. So here it's a metaphor. We can say it can be used, autumn day can be used as a metaphor as well, that talks about the formation of something new. Just like from the trees, new leaves come, flowers bloom. Same way, the new constitution was built with where there was no political emancipation. वही है ना? There was political. It was political emancipation means political freedom, na? Where people enjoyed political emancipation or freedom. That's why autumn, and that is the figurative meaning. The literal meaning is क्या है? Because it's in the southern hemisphere, so May in the month of Australia में भी वही है ना, उल्टा है ना? So same है इधर शायद. South Africa, southern hemisphere, तो वो भी तो southern hemisphere में ही है, Australia.
ये वो rotation की वजह से आती है. First sunlight, Australia और ऐसे.
So it's opposite. Now when we have winter, they have summer. So maybe because of South Africa, we have the same. What is written? Southern hemisphere में है, इसलिए 10th May is autumn. May is autumn. May is summer. For us, but because it's in the literal meaning here, because it is in the southern hemisphere, lies in the southern hemisphere, so for them it is autumn. For us it's not autumn. For us it's summer. May is summer ना, ये summer vacation ही है ना हमारा चल रहा है. So for them it's autumn because just ठंडा, just winter खत्म हो गई because it lies in the southern hemisphere. वही लिखा है ना? That's the literal meaning. और वो जो inner meaning जो है और metaphorical meaning जो है, that is because in the autumn the trees starts blooming. So it's a blooming session for South Africa because new rules are coming up and long practiced appellate system was abolished and people were awarded freedom or political emancipation. This way you are right. At the beginning, so literal meaning भी है और एक literal meaning है, एक inner meaning भी है. There is a way to say. Give me the book. It's not good going here. I mean, two types of the real meaning, the original meaning, and the I'll tell you afterwards. Two types of meaning. एक real meaning होता है, एक metaphorical meaning होता है. Metaphorical, no, that's not. Metaphorical meaning क्या है? That it's about this, about the autumn and spring when the new leaves come out of the trees. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
At the beginning of his speech, Mandela mentions an extraordinary human disaster. What does he mean by this? What is the glorious human achievement he speaks of at the end? Beginning of the speech, Mandela mentions an extraordinary human disaster. What was the human disaster?
That white people ruled over 3 centuries and they were
Tortured, the blacks were
torturing the
tortured, taking away freedom from them, and then gender wise discrimination, color wise discrimination, racial discrimination. All these things are extraordinary human disaster. See if this question is there, the right framing of the answer.
By an extraordinary human disaster at the beginning of his speech, Mandela means that the practice of apartheid system in South Africa. During this, there was oppressive rule of whites over 3 centuries. There was a racial segregation based on color, and blacks suffered a lot. They were not allowed to demand for their freedom. Mandela himself spent many years on infamous Robben Island as a prisoner where he was beaten mercilessly. The glorious human achievement that he speaks of at the end of his speech is that they have at last achieved their political emancipation and they pledged themselves to liberate all their people from continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender discrimination, and other discriminations. Never will their beautiful land experience the oppression of another power. They will never let the sun set on such a glorious achievement. So this is a 6 marks question if it comes in your exam, and just like the island is he was kept in an island as a prisoner. So name one island in India where the prisoners were kept during the Andaman.
yes, Andaman. Have you gone there?
I have not gone, but I've seen the photos of it.
And the name of the jail?
Kalapani.
Kalapani to the beach now. That's Andaman ka jo it's a what's the name of the
cellular jail.
Cellular jail. And if you go inside, tell your parents to take you inside. Don't you go on vacations?
I go.
Where do you go?
Usually Goa or my village.
Where is your village?
Satara.
First. So this time you say tell your parents to take you to Andaman और सेलुलर जेल जो है ना उसमें आपको जाके रियल वो जो टेरर वाला फीलिंग ना वो आएगा. How they were used to extract oil. वो घूम के जैसे बेल करते हैं ना वो the ox and all those things were asked them they were asked to do that. Instead of an animal, they were treated like animal. And उसका कुछ था 20 liter बनाना है ये extract करना है. And when they human being है ना, human being कैसे करेगा extract oil from coconuts and all. It's such a tough job. And they were caned and they were. It's very. You can feel
If
the
the
pain.
target is not completed, they will
Even
beaten.
yeah, they were beaten, and those beating was torturous. So you can feel the pain of the freedom fighters and how we achieved freedom. किसके sacrifice में? And when the political people, the people in power, they try to extract or they try to spoil the spirit of our country, we should feel bad. We should not support those people who are trying to spoil the spirit of our country, because we should always remember the sacrifice of them, of the freedom fighters, how much, what they have done. Otherwise they could, we could have stayed like this. We are under, again under British. हो ही सकता था, अभी भी हमारा बॉस ब्रिटिश है. They will decide which school we'll go. They will decide which game we should take. They will decide that which language we should study, which job we should get. Will you like it? No. Even if our country becomes just like London and everything, but we do not have the right to give the good exams of our country. हमें clerk होके ही रहना है. Will you like it? You have all the potential. You have all the potential to be a doctor. You have all the NDA में only, army में only the British can go. We cannot, Indians cannot go. वही होता ना अगर रह जाता. So we should not forget the sacrifice of those people, and we should love our country. Some politicians they appease, जैसे कोई और religion को appease करते हैं for vote bank politics इसको कहते हैं. So we should not do that. We should think of something that will enhance our development, that will keep us safe. Okay. What does Mandela thank the international leaders for joining them, for coming there? What ideals should he set out? Ideals does he set out for the future of South Africa? That no one will be tortured again. There will be no apartheid. There will be no discrimination based on color, based on race, based on skin color, and anything. And ये सब है ना, discrimination, deprivation, ये सब नहीं रहेगा, and everybody will be free, and there will be total political emancipation, freedom from any restriction. This was your pre-use. A few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in awe as a spectacular array of South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers rode in the perfect formation over the Union buildings. A few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in awe. What does it mean? It's love and admiration. Respect and admiration. Awe means respect and admiration. With respect and admiration, they saw what they saw. We all lifted our eyes in awe as a spectacular array of line of display of spectacular arrays, impressive display of South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers rode in perfect formation over the Union buildings. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, because we have seen if a person of great importance like Lata Mangeshkar, Asha Bhosle, when they died, they were given state honor. What is the state honor with gun and all the, so that was, they are giving state honor to Nelson Mandela, to the new government. So they saw it was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, but a demonstration of the military's loyalty to democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected by common man. So it was not a government that was chosen by the white on their uh, for them, but it is a government that was chosen by common people. Government that is for the people, of the people, by the people. So the military, they displayed their support towards the new government, and they displayed a good, impressive display of colorful and attractive jet, helicopters, and troop carriers rode in perfect formation over the Union building. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, but a demonstration of the military's loyalty to democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected. They showed their through their display on the sky. They showed that they will be loyal to to the new government. So if our army and navy is not loyal to our country, what will happen? Our country will be invaded by others. And if our government official becomes a spy for any other country, it might also bring disaster, because then all the धुरंधर वही तो है ना, spy भेजा था. So, and if we have a धुरंधर from other country in our country, or no, बाहर की country तो कर ही सकता है, लेकिन our country people, if becomes धुरंधर and becomes a spy taking money from other country, कोई country बोला कि you will work for India, you are an Indian, you will work for India, but you will give us all the information. So that is disloyalty, that will bring doom for the country. So this army, they displayed their through the display, they actually wanted to say that we will be loyal to the new government, stay loyal to the new government. Loyalty to democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected. Only moments later, so freely, and how can you say it is freely and fairly elected? So it is now, it became a democracy. And in a democratic government, the people elect this should be answered, they elect their leader. That's why we can say, because it's a government elected by the people, it's a democracy. So we can say that it is a election, it is a fair election, fairly and only moments before, the highest generals of the South African Defence Force and police, their chests bedecked with ribbons, only moments before the inauguration, the highest generals of the South African Defence Force and police, their chests bedecked with ribbons and medals from days gone by, saluted me and pledged their loyalty. Understood this? I was not unmindful of the fact that not so many years before they would not have saluted but arrested me. I was not mindful of the fact that not so many years before, when the government belonged to the white people were ruling the country, and something like this he would have been arrested by the army people if he had done something like this, isn't it? Not when it was the white rule at time, he would have been arrested if he had dared to go against them. This is going against them, the white rule. But now, because the government is formed, the constitution is formed, even the whites are also, everybody is coming and showing their loyalty to the new South African president.
Ma'am, if Nelson Mandela faced such a discrimination since his childhood, then after becoming president, didn't he took revenge or something?
Didn't he take revenge?
Take revenge?
No, because he that's why he got the Nobel Peace Prize. He supported peace. Violence attracts violence. An eye for an eye will make the whole world black. महात्मा गांधी ने ये बोला था एन आई फॉर एन आई सो उसने मेरा एक आंख फोड़ा मैंने उसका दो आंख फोड़ूंगी उसका चाचा ने बोला अरे उसका दो आंख फोड़ा मैं उसका आंख फोड़ूंगी ऐसा करते 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 सब एक दूसरे का आंख फोड़ेंगे तो क्या होगा द होल वर्ल्ड विल बिकम ब्लाइंड वायलेंस अट्रैक्ट्स वायलेंस दैट्स व्हाई नॉन वायलेंस था ना गांधी जी का से वायलेंटली अगर करोगे तो एवरीबॉडी विल डाई And if we are not non-violent, okay, karo. Violent, but Subhash Chandra Bose was different. He said, if you give me blood, I'll give you freedom. Give me blood. Here, he wanted. He argued that without violence, we cannot fight them because they have all the arms and ammunitions. We have nothing. So हमें उसको violent through violence ही उसको मार के ये करके we have to लेकिन गांधी जी ने बोला कि give me we have to be non-violence वाला कुछ किया था ना उसने एक non-violent movement कुछ किया था हाँ non-violence act That's why he did not take revenge because वो revenge लेने से ये revenge लेगा वो counter revenge लेगा वो counter revenge लेगा so whole world will become black है ना I was not unmindful मुझे पता था I didn't forget this is what he's telling I was not unmindful I did not forget conscious aware of I was aware of the fact that not so many years before they would not have saluted but arrested me now they are saluting me because constitutionally the constitution was changed apartheid system was abolished and he is the new leader of South Africa. He was elected by the people, so they cannot go against him. That so he did not forget their torture. भूला नहीं उसने, but उसने वो he did not give it back with the same point. उसने शांतिपूर्वक उसने वो system को ही हटा दिया. Or the fact that not so many years before they would not have saluted but arrested me. Finally, our chevron of Impala jets left a smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue and gold of the new South African flag. A pattern in the shape of a V. That is chevron of Impala. Finally, chevron of Impala jets. Chevron of Impala jets, a pattern in the shape of a V. Chevron of Impala jets. Jets in the shape of V. Smoke trail chora that resembled all the colors of South African flag. The day was symbolized for me by the playing of our national anthems and the vision of whites singing this song and blacks singing Die Stem, the old anthem of the Republic. The old anthem of the Republic was something else. The white used to play something else, but the black had separate anthem, the whites had separate anthem, but both the anthems were sung in the ceremony. So this is the first sign that shows that there is no discrimination. अगर खाली black का ही होता तो discrimination against the white हो जाता. But the day was symbolized for me by the playing of our two national anthems. This is the first sign that tells us that there was no discrimination between black and white. अभी black जीत गया तो black होगा, white नहीं होगा, नहीं, वो भी discrimination ही हो जाता ना, but नहीं हुआ. And the vision of whites singing this and blacks singing Die Stem, the old anthem of the Republic. Although that day neither group knew the lyrics of the anthem, they once despised, had a very low opinion of the anthem. The white had no opinion of the black anthem. The black people had no opinion of the white anthem. So no one knows the word of their anthem. So they cannot. Very few of them could sing because they do not know the anthem of the words of white people's anthem. The white people do not know the words of the black people's anthem. So, although that day neither group knew the lyrics of the anthem, they once despised, had a very low opinion of. That's what I say. Despised is, I have a low opinion of your anthem, you have a low opinion of my anthem. So you don't know my words, I don't know your words. So none of them could sing it properly together. They would soon know the words by heart, but he has faith, Nelson Mandela, that both very soon all will become sane and they will learn each other anthems. 15 more minutes. Are you feeling tired?
No.
Okay, I'll continue. ये बहुत अच्छा है ये. So that's why the CBSE, ICSE, all the 10th, 12th textbooks, they are, the syllabus is designed in such a way that we learn life lesson. The life lesson that we learn here is wherever we go, school, college, higher studies, abroad, we should not involve ourselves in any type of discrimination. Poor, rich, dark, white, short, long, body shaming, nothing should, because what happens when we are into this? When we are part of this discrimination, what happens? If I am suffering, what happens to me? If I am I'm involved in the ragging, what happens to that person? So many deaths happen because of this body shaming, bolo, discrimination, bolo, grading ki discrimination, bolo. So we should avoid all these things. We all are the same. On the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed with a sense of history. In the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after the bitter Anglo-Boer War and after my own birth, the white-skinned peoples of South Africa patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned peoples of their own land. Now, till now he talked about the change. Talked about the change. Kya change hua hai? Now he's talking about, he's going back to the past. He was talking about today, the inauguration day. Now he's going to the past, why the change was needed. Why apartheid system needed to be abolished. And what led to the white domination in South Africa. Why it all happened. He's going back to the history. On the day, and it started before his birth. What happened? On the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed with a sense of history. Now it's history. He's talking about history. What exactly happened in South Africa? Why the black people, though South Africa is a country of the blacks, Africans, but how it became dominated? It was dominated by the whites, though it's not their land, it's the land of the Africans. So in the land of the Africa, how come the South, the white people, they ruled for so many years? See how the British ruled our country. They do not belong to our country. They invaded. They just came in.
So means the whites in the South Africa were Britishers?
Yes, everybody in America be Britishers here. They set up the original people are the Britishers. The Americans are also Britishers. They settled there. They went on. They extended their land because there was a dearth of land, and due to industrial revolution and all, they started expanding. They started moving to other parts of the globe, and in that way, they settled down in USA, and they were doing they were involved in trade with us, and slowly they invaded India. They came in tea, ये वो सब ट्रेड करते करते वो लोग आ गए, क्योंकि वो दिखा रहे इंडिया के पास तो बहुत सारा ये है, मिनरल्स एंड एवरीथिंग दे हैव, नेचुरल टी एंड एवरीथिंग दे हैव, दार्जिलिंग है, ये है, सो लेट्स इन्वेड. ऐसा ही आ गया, बिकॉज they were more they were powerful, they had all the arms and everything. We didn't have. हमारा धोती पहनते हुए हम लोग तो वही करते थे, गुरुकुल, अड़ियकुल, गोकुल, and they were industrial revolution से वो लोग ये हो गया. We did not accept all those things. हम तो हमेशा पहले underdeveloped थे, we developing. We are not yet developed country, are we? No. कितने साल से developing चल रहा है हम लोग? Because the one very important point is because our country land is chota and population more. So when we have lots of population, it's very difficult to become a developing country. But still, if you talk about China में भी तो कितना population है, लेकिन China, it's a bigger country than India. I think the land जो भी हो, but ये control करना चाहिए ना, there should be rule. Population control का rule अगर हो जाएगा, and there's so much opposition. हमें फिर communist जो है, चाइना में communism है. What is communism? Make or break. अगर करो नहीं तो जेल में जाओ. हम ये कर ही नहीं सकते. हमारा तो कितने सारे लोगों का वॉइस आ जाएगा, और ये आ जाएगा, फिर पेटा आ जाएगा, हेटा आ जाएगा, ये सब different community will come forward, different establishment will come forward, different NGOs will come forward. एक काम करने में कितना हमें वक्त ये करना पड़ता है. अच्छा भी काम हो तो कितना करना पड़ता है. It's not. अगर कम्युनिज्म होता है तो अच्छा है. कम्युनिज्म is they are very strict. अगर आपको नहीं करना है ना, आप जेल में जाओ, पकड़ के जेल में लेके जाओ. But we don't have that. We are republic, democrat people, fools.
I mean, news I heard that India needs a good dictator.
Yes, dictators की जरूरत है, लेकिन dictator जो बनेगा उसको 5 साल में उसको निकाल देगा. Because we are voting ना, वोट करके निकाल देगा. क्या करेगा 5 साल में? तो सेटल होते ही 5 साल में हो जाता है. And then you start working now. For if I make you the prime minister, first 5 years you have to learn what is happening where. Because we have so much of diversity. तो वो सीखने में आपको 5 साल चला जाएगा. तो सीखते, after learning, the moment you start, you think that this is my plan. 5 years, next 5 years plan, I'll do this. You are out of the chair. Opposition आ जाएगा, है ना? Because we'll go to USA, we'll go to Singapore, we'll not throw trash. But here we'll throw trash. वो जो garbage है, सिंगापुर में कितने इंडियन है, यूएसए में कितने इंडियन है, लेकिन कोई कुछ नहीं फेंकते हैं कहीं पे भी. इधर एक अच्छा नया पार्क बनाया, पेरेंट्स गए, बच्चे को लेके गए, उधर ही लेस खाया, उधर ही फेंक दिया. नहीं करते क्या हम लोग? But we will not do this in Singapore. will not do this in USA. Agar if we keep a person who will fine, सिंगापुर में फाइन होता है, बट उधर ब्राइब भी नहीं लेते हैं. इधर आप किसी को रखोगे और 100-200 रुपया फाइन है, आपको पकड़ लिया, 10 रुपया देके आपको छोड़ दिया. नेक्स्ट अदर पर्सन भी 10 रुपया ही तो लेते हैं, वापस फेंक दिया उधर. सो इफ the rule is strict कि 200 देना ही है, and the person who is deployed will not take a bribe and take 200 rupees and give you a receipt. You will not do it again. 500 rupees है for spitting. जो person deployed है, आपको पकड़ लिया, तो 500 rupees आपसे मांगा with a receipt. You say भाई साहब 50 रुपया लेके छोड़ दो ना. 50 रुपया लिया विदाउट रिसीट छोड़ दिया, तो you will spit again next day. वही तो है ना. So we should change our mindset. No one can change you. We have to change our own self. अभी क्या होता है, नया घर जगह बनाया, नया टाइल्स लगाया, उसका भगवान का फोटो देके करना पड़ रहा है, so that people should not spit. क्यों करना पड़ रहा है? मुझे नया सफेद any clean place, invariably you will see people are spitting. पान का थूकना, ये तो ना, साफ जगह देखा तो स्पिट कर दिया. I have seen flights. अगर a flight is going to Singapore, ठीक है, सिंगापुर वाला मैंने नहीं देखा, मैंने सुना है. A flight is going to Singapore. So what is the rule? Unless and until the belt sign doesn't go, you should not remove your belt. Safety belt जो भी लगाते हो ना, वो remove नहीं करना जब तक वो sign नहीं जाता है. वो sign जाएगा, then stop होगा, वो sign जाएगा, then only you should get up and remove your luggage from the upper bin, वो जो भी बोले, हाँ, from ऊपर जो रखते हैं ना, हाँ. तो the flight is going from India to Singapore. सिंगापुर पहुंच गया, everybody is sitting, and then वो sign चला गया, then they are getting up and शांति से, इंडियन ही है. वही flight coming from Singapore to India पहुंचा, टच भी नहीं किया, and वो जो ये है ना, हमें वो जो हमारा क्रूज है, please be seated, please do not remove your seat belt, वो खट remove करके they will start getting up, they will start opening the, ये करते हैं. Because this is India, the same person how come can resist themselves when they are going to Singapore? How come they are behaving so like a gentleman in Singapore and not behaving like a gentleman in India? So it's in our mindset. Because we do not have a strict rule here, we will not be fined here. ये हमारा अपना देश है, हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, ऐसा नहीं होता है. On the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed in a sense of history. So how it all happened in the first decade of the 20th century, they were under the white rule. So first decade of the 20th century, that means something a year belonging to 1900, to 1910, 20, something like that. So I was in the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after the bitter Anglo-Boer, there was a war, Anglo-Boer war, and before that war was happened before his birth, Mandela's birth. What is this Anglo-Boer war? You can check, you can find from the Google. I'm not telling you, I can also do that, but it's not so important because it's only about the war. What happened in the war? If you want to know for your knowledge sake, you can learn. Anglo-Boer war, and before my own birth, the white-skinned peoples of South Africa, there were few people who were residing in South Africa, patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned peoples of their own land. So, the white-skinned peoples of South Africa patched up their differences and erected the South African whites. They formed a group together, patched up their different, जो भी आपका उन लोगों का difference था, नहीं ये उनका soil है, black people को हम exploit नहीं कर सकते, किसी के मन में वो रहता है ना, they patched up all their differences. A few years after the bitter Anglo, I think we should know about this war because this war patched up the difference between the white-skinned people. We'll learn this after the break. I'll tell you after the break. And before my own birth, the white-skinned peoples of South Africa patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned peoples of their own land. Of whose own land? The black people's own land. And that was the land where South African also, the white people also in minority they stayed, but it was the land of the black people, Africans. The structure they created formed the basis of one of the harshest, most inhuman societies the world has ever known. The way they were tortured, the way they were exploited is the most harshest thing that the world had ever witnessed. The way they were treated even worse than an animal by the white people. Decade of the 20th century and my own eighth decade as a man, eighth decade as a man, eighth decade as a man. How old is he now? एक decade में कितना साल होता है?
80.
One decade, हाँ. One decade में 10 years ना? So 8 decade is 80 years. Now in the last decade of the 20th century and my own age, so now in the last decade of the 20th century, the apartheid system, it started after the Anglo-Boer War. That was in the first half of the first decade of the 20th century. First decade, first 10 years of the 1910 के बीच में हुआ है ना? Something in 1910. Now it is in the last decade of the 20th century. It is last decade of the 20th century. Last decade कौन सा होता है? 1900 and we'll start after the break. You will go out?
No, I brought.
Okay, you finish.